All right, guys, welcome to the Fantasy Sports Wrap. Michael Potter.
Deron Phillip.
And week 3 is in the books, Deron, and we had some very, very interesting matchups here. A lot of movement going on. Let's go over the scoreboard.
Yep. First of all, we got the big winner of the week, and he's going to be our Buzzsaw Team of the Week, Toronto Mounties.
Right off the gate, Buzzsaw Team of the Week, Toronto Mounties.
8-1-1 victory over Baracho Bandits. Brought Bandits back down to earth from last week, from his victory over me. So that was the big win of the week. We also had Sheffield Slammers. He's the other division leader.
Nice comeback.
Nice comeback for him with an 8-2 win over Team Britain. And we had a couple 7-3 scores. I was on the long end, but you unfortunately were on the short end.
Yeah, Moon Valley Racers had a nice 7-3 over Tillman Pride. That was a big week win for you to get you kind of back in there.
Yep.
Bushwood Loopers, not so well. I lost 3-7 to Tom Brown and Phoenix Tower, and quite honestly, it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been.
If you watched the one we did on Saturday, I said I'd be happy with a 2-8. I was ecstatic with a 3-7 and needed that. And then we had one team that was just 5-5, man.
Domorowski and Dachshund Jocks, just kissing your sister result there.
Only way it could have been closer is had it been 0-0-10.
Yep. So that's the rundown on the scoreboard. We go to the standings. We touched on them a little bit already. Sheffield Slammers is leading the East by 5 games over me. And got a big
second
match.
Place,
Second place.
Very
I climbed
nice.
up, yeah. Got back into it. And, of course, I'm going to be hopefully trying to get closer to first this week because I do play Slammers.
What are you back? You're back 4 games?
5 games.
5 games, so yeah, you could do that. I mean, you guys are playing each other this week,
Yep,
so
that's
huge
right.
matchup there. The
Huge.
top 2 teams in the East, head to head.
And over in your division, we got Phoenix Tower leading by a half game over Toronto Mounties, as we mentioned, the aforementioned Buzzsaw Team of the Week. They're playing each other this week for the top spot in that division. So a couple of key matchups here early on in the season, and should be kind of exciting.
Yeah, so we got the top 2 teams in each division playing one another, and then quite honestly, everybody else is just playing to stay close.
That's right.
At that stage. An interesting thing I thought when we talked about the Buzzsaw of the Week is Sheffield Slammers was week 1, Baracho Bandits was week 2, Toronto Mounties was week 3, and those, 2 of those guys are in the top 2 in their league. Baracho, he was a buzzsaw, but then he got buzzsawed, so that really hurt him.
Right.
But Mounties is playing Tower, top team in the league, but Tower's never even been in the runnings for Buzzsaw of the Week. He's just very steady, just keeps throwing him out there.
He was early on this week. But then you kind of made a run at him, and he kind of slumped off a little bit towards the end of the week. But
he was dominating me this week, but his numbers weren't Buzzsaw-ish.
Yeah, that's true.
He was, but because my numbers were so bad. You look at this week at Toronto Mounties, and this is something I kind of looked at. You got to get about 40, 45 runs, 9, 10 home runs, 40 RBI. There's some kind of plateaus there you want to hit, some milestones. And Mounties was 49 runs, 9 homers, 46 RBI, 9 steals, 297 batting average. And then he had his ERA was under 2 and his whip was under 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's Buzzsaw worthy. You actually, as I was looking at it yesterday, Deron, I was thinking, man, Moon Valley Racers is going to be probably in contention for Buzzsaw of the Week. It's just Toronto just had such a great across-the-board numbers that it had to go to Mounties.
Yeah, it did. You mentioned that because I was looking at my team like maybe I should nominate myself here for Buzzsaw of the Week, but he would have beat me probably. We figured 7-3. I think it would have been.
Yeah, he would have beat you 7-3 with his numbers. You might have played a little differently had you been playing him, but yeah, he had a great week.
But I'm not going to complain with the week that I had. My team put up some very good numbers. I only hit 258, but my production was really good.
Yeah, I'm amazed that a guy can put up that many numbers: 49 runs, 9 homers, 46 RBI. And I guess it kind of follows, but hit 297.
Yes, yeah. I mean, across the board, he was tough. ERA and pitching too. He didn't carry strikeouts, but that was actually only a category that he lost. But ERA and WHIP were excellent. He had 5 saves, tied for 5 wins. So overall, just a real solid week for Mounties, and he's going to be looking to carry that over into this week with that big divisional matchup.
Well, and one thing as we dissect his week a little bit more is you look at the RBI, and he had 5 from Billy Butler, a guy drafted Castro, Votto. We talked about those guys. But he picked up Derek Norris off the bench, and Norris came in and had 7 RBI, a homer, 6 runs this week. And that's a guy he picked up off waivers.
Yep. So always be looking to, tweak your team. Guys that, we talked to Tom Brown a little bit about it, and you'll see his interview coming up on Wednesday. He has a tip of the week when it comes to kind of retooling his roster, and you can tune in for that.
What did you think of your week, though? You had to be happy at 7-3, but did you look at it and go, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, or were you like, no, that's good, I'm ready to go?
No, I was, for a while there was 6-4. I'm like going, if I go a 6-4 here, I wouldn't be, okay, it's a win, but the fact that I was able to carry batting average, it kind of came down to the last couple of games last night. I might have lost average, but overall, no, I've got no complaints this week. I mean, my team did very well. My pitching was a little spotty. I had one of my closers get blown up, and he'd been pitching pretty well. So, but that happens. But overall, 7-3, you really can't complain about that.
Now, are you going to change anything specifically going into this with Sheffsville Slammers?
I'd say not. I did have a couple guys that went on the DL this last week, and I did drop them already. I did pick up a 2-start pitcher for Milwaukee, who's been pitching very well. And then I also burned up another transaction. I got rid of Zobrist, and I picked up a guy on Baltimore who's been really, I can't even think of his name off the top of my head because I never heard of him before.
You're making too many moves and you can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, but Jimmy Paredes is hitting .429 for the Orioles, and they've had some injury issues, and so this guy's been on fire lately. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to hang on to Zobrist. He's probably going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury, probably surgery. And here's a guy who's hot, so I'm gonna go with him, pick him up.
Yeah, injury is still a huge thing here. Toronto Mounties, he's got a bunch of injuries now. He just found out Wainwright. I thought initially it was just going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, but this might be a season-ending injury for Adam Wainwright with the Achilles.
Yep.
I was actually texting back and forth because last week when he buzzsawed me, didn't win Buzzsaw of the Week, but he beat me bad. I had Daniel Norris, who's a pitcher for the Blue Jays, he's a Blue Jays fan, McKenzie is, and Norris got blown up, and it cost me ERA and WHIP. So I dropped him. So I get a text from McKenzie the other day, and he says, hey, I'm at the Blue Jays game. Norris is pitching a really nice game. My response was, good for him. But right then I got a text from Dan Mutton, a huge fan of the St. Louis Cardinals Docs and Jocks team, and he said, hey, Wainwright just left. It looks like an Achilles injury. Mm-hmm. Initially they diagnosed it as an ankle, but it is the Achilles, and he might be out for the year. So I texted McKenzie. I wasn't trying to rub it in or anything, but I texted him letting him know, hey, this guy's in trouble. And that's a big blow for him because Wainwright had been lights out.
Yeah, for sure.
For that team. So what do you do, Deron, when we have a lot of DTD, a lot of day-to-day guys, and sometimes you don't know whether they're playing or not before your lineup. Mm-hmm. What's your take on that? Do you like to get rid of those guys? Do you like to drop them quickly, even if a guy's on a DL, say for 15-day DL? Do you hang on to him or do you get rid of him?
Well, it depends on the rest of my roster makeup, and who I currently have on my DL, if I have anybody. I've got Matt Wieters right now, and this guy is a very good hitting catcher. To me, he's got a higher priority than, let's say, a Ben Zobrist, who had been playing okay, but to sit with someone like that for 4 to 6 weeks when Wieters is basically rumored to be coming back early May, I'm going to hang on to Wieters, and I'm not going to keep a guy like Zobrist. Now, the day-to-day guys, I'll ride him depending on what's going on. Let's say a guy like Odor that I've got. If he goes day to day, I'm going to drop him because he's not doing anything for me right now. So, but the marquee guys, I'm going to hang on to them as much as I can. That's kind of what my strategy is. And getting back to this week, I'm not planning on doing a whole lot different. Got my 6 closers. Got about the same amount of starts that Slammers does this week. Just going to roll with it and hope my guys produce.
But if you look at the numbers, I think if you look at the numbers, I mean, Mounties was a buzzsaw of the week, so that matchup, if you look at the numbers this week, he would have beaten Phoenix Tower pretty well. But it's a new week. And if you look at you guys' matchup, I think you would have been a 5-4-1 against a Sheffsville Slammers or something like that with this week's numbers. But just ask Baracho Bandits. This week numbers don't matter because he had a great week in 2, and he ran into a buzzsaw and didn't perform in week 3. So anything can change.
Right. As I look at the standings, as I look at my total numbers, I'm right there. I mean, I'm leading the league in home runs with 34. I'm leading the league in RBIs with 123. I'm second in steals with 25. My average is low. I'm toward the bottom end of the league as far as batting average is concerned. My runs, I'm competitive there. So overall, I'm pretty happy. As long as I'm getting production, if batting average is the one thing that's going to suffer, but as long as I'm still producing, I'm going to be totally fine with that from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah, and I look at mine, and I 122 runs. I'm like second, tied for second in that. 29 homers. I mean, I'm just a few off the clip. I'm right in the ballpark there. And some of my guys, in my opinion, haven't really started hitting that well. And Gomez has been out for the last week and a half. 111 RBI. I mean, Baracho with 131.
Yeah, I take that back. I'm second in RBIs. I'm not leading.
Yeah, and you've got 123. So I'm within shouting distance of that. I'm really down in stolen bases. Average wise, I'm 261. So I'm not going to make any I like my team. I like what they're doing. When Gomez comes back, it gives me a chance to get like Chris Davis out of the lineup or Hayward out of the lineup. I'm happy with my team. I'm not going to make any changes, and I'm just going to ride it out and see what happens.
And who you got this week? Who's your?
I got Docs and Jocks.
Docs and Jocks. Okay.
It's not playing for pride yet in week 4, but it's definitely playing for pride in this week with those guys, because I know Hawk will be chirping and Dr. Dan will be giving it to me.
Well, in positioning in the standings, you're 2 games back, so you need to of Docs and Jocks. You want to leapfrog him and
we both need Docs and Jocks. We both need a 7-3 win, and to have Tower and Mounties do a 5-5 or ideally if they could do an 0-10. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, it'd be
if
awesome.
They could just tie in every category, that would be perfect.
No wins for any of them.
No wins.
Yep.
Hey, so a couple of house cleaning notes that we need to go over the league. Make sure you're checking, because we did get a couple of emails from different people saying, hey, is anybody checking these trades? I'm sending trades out and nobody's checking them. So why don't you go over how people do that and how important it is to get on and check those out?
Yeah, it's important because people are going to be offering trades out on a regular basis. And if you're not responding, they don't know if you're considering the trade, you're mulling it over, or if you haven't looked at it at all. So if you can make a point to just check your team site every day, just above where it has your statistics and your menu options, it'll be showing that you have a pending transaction. So you need to go to it, check on it. If it's not a trade that appeals to you, maybe type up a little note and just saying, hey, I'm not really interested in this right now. Or if you have a counter offer you want to make, and or if you just don't have time to even really look at it, just hit reject trade, and then the person can move on and maybe make that offer to somebody else or for another player.
Yeah, and you can respond right through that. You should get a notification in your email that there's a trade out there. On your page, it says that. You can respond right to that trade. You can also send a league email, not to everybody in the league. You can pick who you want to send it to.
Right.
I can send one to Shuff and go, hey, I did actually. Hey, Shuff, I'm thinking about a trade. Who do you want? What do you want for this? He didn't respond, so I just put a trade out there, and he accepted it.
Right.
But kind of beyond that, if you're not sure, it's okay to take time to think about it, but don't take more than a day.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, well, I'm just going to pull it back. And you actually had a trade out there that probably would have benefited, I think, in hindsight, the other team more so than you.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't respond, and you pulled it back.
And I'm glad. In that case, I was glad they didn't respond because some things developed, and I thought, you know what, this is not the kind of deal I want to make.
Well, the closer, you were going to trade a closer for a starter. The starter got blown up, and the closer locked down the closer position because of a season-ending injury to the guy he was holding the place for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest on making trades, but I do. If I'm going to get an offer, I'm definitely going to look at it and try to get back with that person as soon as I can.
Because it does take 3 days for that. Once you accept it, it still takes time for that trade to go through. That's why people who want to make a trade, they don't want to lose a whole week doing that.
Right.
So try to check that. And also there's a chat feature on there too. And you'll see Tom Brown on there. You'll see me and you on there. You'll see Baracho, I think, was on there. But do that as well. And you can also comment on these on the YouTube page as well.
Yep.
So typically we'll have a tip of the week for you too. But watch Tom Brown's interview that we did with him. We're going to drop that on Wednesday. And he's got a great tip in there. I thought it was a really good tip.
Yeah.
From a newbie.
For sure.
Good tip.
Who's leading the league.
Unbelievable. Hey, Deron, good luck this week against Shellsville Slammers.
To you as well. Yep.
Good luck to everybody out there. Thanks so much for being a part of this inaugural year, and thanks for watching and listening, and make sure you share this with anybody that you can.
We'll see you later this week.
Take care, guys.